Hi guys, so as some of you may know, today is Pink Shirt Day. Now you might say, what is Pink Shirt Day? Pink Shirt Day is awareness campaign for bullying, or against bullying, and I'll explain to you how it all came about. It came about with some grade 9 students in Nova Scotia. So it says David Shepard and Travis Price, and I'm reading this right off of, if you can see that, pinkshirtday.ca. David Shepard and Trevor Price and their teenage friends organized a high school protest to wear pink in sympathy with a grade 9 boy who is being bullied for wearing a pink shirt. They took a stand against bullying when they protested against the harassment of the new grade 9 student by distributing t-shirts to all boys in the school. I learned that two boys can come up with an idea, run with it, and can do it justice, said Mr. Price, 17, who organized the pink protest. Finally, someone stood up for the weaker student. So Mr. Shepard and some of the others headed up a discount store that bought 50 pink tank tops. They sent our message to schoolmates that night, and the next morning they hung the t-shirts in the school in plastic bags. As they stood in the foyer handing out the shirts, the bullied boy walked in. His face spoke volumes. It looked like a huge weight had been lifted off of his shoulder, Mr. Price recalled. The bullies were never heard from again. So I'm wearing a pink shirt. This is not one of the pink shirts from their thing, but what you can buy from them. So all donations go to, all proceeds from the official Pink Shirt Day t-shirts, pins, and buttons, as well as all donations, go to anti-bullying initiatives that directly help youth in need. I'm going to see if I can show you guys if this loads fast enough. So this is kind of what it is. Kindness fits all sizes. Yeah. Sorry, kindness is one size fits all. If you can see the shirt, and then you can get buttons like it as well. So yeah, I thought that I would just talk to you guys today about oh, and then you can also get this as a lapel pin as well. Pink Shirt Day 2016. So I thought I would talk to you guys today about why bullying makes me so frustrated, and it upsets me, and how I wish we could all just be accepting of each other. So I think the place to start with this would be why bullying is important to me. And bullying is important to me because to this day, as long as I can remember, to this day, I have been bullied. When I was younger, I was bullied for having glasses, because I've worn glasses pretty much my whole life, since before I started school. When I first started school, I was tall and skinny, so I was made fun of because I was a taller kid. I hit puberty when I was 8, so I was made fun of for that. I was bullied for that. I was bullied for being overweight because I became overweight when I hit puberty. I was bullied for having crazy hair, because my hair is half curly, half straight, half wavy. It's a very big mix, which is why you guys see it up most of the time. It's a lot of work to do. I was bullied for my mental health. I was bullied because I was an addict. I was bullied. If you can think of something possibly to be bullied, I was bullied. And when I was younger, I didn't really have anywhere to turn other than my sisters, who mostly were also being bullied for numerous reasons as well. Where I found my refuge, I guess, was with my grandparents, who I lived with later on, but not when I was young. Because I was also bullied at home by my mom. And I also watched my dad be severely bullied by my mom and abused by my mom. And so it tore me down to such a level that I'm not saying bullying is the only reason why I started using drugs when I was 8, but it's definitely a contributing factor. I'm not saying that bullying is the reason why my mental health became unstable, because it's not, because I have a chemical imbalance. I have bipolar, so I have a chemical imbalance. I have an anxiety disorder. That's a chemical imbalance. I take medication to help that imbalance. But the reality is being bullied did not help my mental health. It did not. Sorry, guys, my phone is just doing weird things. It did not make me feel like I was accepted, or I was loved, or I was lovable, or I was acceptable. And so as a result, that caused a heavy level of depression, which I'm not saying is the reason why I ended up with the imbalance for bipolar, but it definitely didn't help. And then when I didn't know what to do and I had nowhere to turn, I ended up turning to older youth, because I was 8 when I started doing drugs. So I started turning to like junior high and high school students, because I looked older than what I was. So I didn't exactly look like I was in the high school, but I could have pulled off maybe grade 7, grade 8. So I started hanging around with this bad crowd, and I ended up doing drugs, and I did cocaine for the first time when I was 8. And would have I done that if I wasn't being bullied at home, or if I wasn't being bullied at school, or if I wasn't being bullied on the playground, or if I wasn't being bullied walking down the street? I can't say for sure the answer is no, but what I can say is it definitely contributed, because not only was the drug numbing how I felt, the drug was also came with a social circle that I thought was loving and accepting of me, and really all they were doing was luring me in to get me addicted to drugs, and later on to do some acts for them that they didn't want to do themselves because they didn't want to get caught, which was all it's in itself a form of bullying. So what I want to talk about is the fact that there are many reasons why people bully. I understand that. Sometimes people bully others so that they can feel better about themselves because there's something negative going on in their life that they don't know how to deal with. And I know that, and I accept that, and I understand that. But what I'm here to say is the people that bully for those reasons and the people that are being bullied, there are other ways. If you feel like you're not being heard, or like someone is being mean to you, or if life is just being mean to you, instead of bullying each other, what we need to do is create circles of safety. And how you do that is you figure out the people in your life that you can trust, which when you're being bullied is a hard thing to do, because it seems like everyone's against you, the world's against you. But maybe it's a teacher, maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a sibling, maybe it's a member of your church or other spiritual group, maybe it's a member of your Girl Guides or your Boy Scouts or your who knows what, whatever you're involved in, your singing group, your drama group, your classmates, whoever, your principal, whoever it may be. That one person you can trust, your parents, your auntie, your uncle, your cousin, whoever it is, Tell them what you're experiencing. Try to explain to them the best of your ability who is hurting you, how they're hurting you, and how it's affecting you. Now, if you're the person who's bullying because you feel like you don't have that acceptance, if you were to do that, the chances of you going to school the next day and bullying someone would go down greatly, because you would feel supported and you would feel loved. Now, I'm not saying that all bullies bully because there's other things going on, but I don't believe that generally people, the vast majority of people in this world, are cruel for the sake of being cruel. There's 99% of the time there's a reason underneath. So all I'm saying, I'm not saying that bullying is right, and I'm not saying that we should accept bullies, be like, oh, well, they're going through stuff too. But what I'm saying is you don't have to accept their behavior, but be understanding to the fact that there could be something else going on there. And if you're being bullied, if you go and you talk to someone you trust and you say, so-and-so is saying this or doing this or whatever, and it's hurting me and it's upsetting me and I don't know what to do about it, that person that you're going to not only can help you through it, but maybe they can go and they can talk to someone that would be in a mediating position. So if it's someone at school, maybe they can go with you and talk to the principal and say, so-and-so is doing this to me and it's hurting me and I don't know what to do and I want it to stop. And maybe the principal can then have a conversation with that other person in a respectful way, to say, hey, little Johnny, Sally came in and told me that you're pulling her hair and you're punching her and you're calling her names and whatever the case is. What's going on for you? What is the reason why you're doing that? And all I'm saying is that if we approach bullying from that point of view, where we try to understand what everyone's going through, including the bully, which I understand is very, very difficult, especially when they're being very cruel and very hurtful. But if we just try and come from a place of understanding and acceptance of all people and understand that people make poor choices. Someone is bullying you, they're making a poor choice, no matter if they're consciously doing it or they're doing it to get their needs met, or they're outrightly cruel, that like 0.1% of the world that is outrightly cruel and doesn't give a damn about the rest of the world and how they hurt them. No matter where they fall in that spectrum, if you just try to meet it with a little bit of understanding, and then you also, you don't just, okay, I understand they must be going through something, so I'm going to continue to be bullied. No, you don't have the right to be bullied. You have the right to be safe. And you have the right to feel good and secure in your environment, whether that be school or church or home or whatever. So you need to go and talk to someone. You need to get validation that what's going on is not okay. You need to get help feeling better, and you need to get help in addressing the problem, because what ends up happening is if the problem doesn't get addressed, things start happening like self-harm, which happened in my case. I started self-harming because I didn't know how else to get the pain out, and for me it was a very psychological pain. So I wanted to put that into a physical pain, and then I made myself bleed, and then now I can see there's a reason why I'm in pain. And it can also lead to suicide or suicide attempts, which also happened in my case, because people get to the end of the rope, if you will, quote unquote, and they don't know what else to do. And their life feels like it's so horrifically horrible that the only possible foreseeable thing they can do is to end their life. And that is just such a harsh reality for a lot of people to swallow, especially people that tease and pick on and bully other people. Like, I could not have pushed them to the point that, but you don't know what else is going on in their life. So you're teasing and picking on and pushing their buttons and bullying, even if it's not a severe form of bullying. Number one, everybody experiences things differently. So what you think is just a little bit of teasing could really hurt someone. And also, what may just be to that person a little bit of teasing, but they have so much other stuff going on in their life that is just the straw that broke the camel's back, so to say. It is just the thing that they said, enough, I can't handle life. So I don't want this to be negative. I don't want this to be about trying to protect the bully, because I don't believe in that. I believe that no one has the right to bully anyone. But I also believe that everyone does bully everyone in one way or another. Now, I'm not talking in the severe forms where people are going home crying and this is, every day, and this person feels like complete crap about themselves, and it happens over and over and over and over again until it escalates to the point of a potential self-harm situation or potential suicidal ideation situation, or even a full-blown suicide attempt. What I'm talking about is that we're all human, and so people say and do things, I know I do, that I shouldn't say and do. It's part of being a human being. But the other part of it, so that is bullying. If I said to my husband something mean because I was mad at him, that is bullying him. That is being cruel to him. But the difference between that, how I make that bullying not okay, but make it into something that can become positive and be grown from, is that if I bully someone, or if you bully someone and you leave that situation going, I don't know if I should have said that. Oh, well, I'm just mad at them. So yeah, I said it, they deserve it, whatever. But once you go home, maybe that night, maybe the next day, you're thinking about it and you're like, wait a second, I went overboard. I need to apologize. I need to go have a heart-to-heart with this person and tell them, you know what, I know what I did was wrong. And I promise that I will do my very best to never do something like this again. That's when an everyday bullying incident can be turned into something positive, and you can learn your own triggers. You can learn how you trigger other people, and you can grow from it. But that can't happen unless you have the awareness about you that sometimes the things that come out of your mouth and some of your actions are not okay. There's no one on this planet that every single thing they do and thing they say is correct and should be done. And there's no one on this earth that doesn't hurt someone in one way or another. It's how you respond to those actions in yourself that helps to end bullying, because you realize what you have done is wrong and you go and talk to that person. And even if that person's like, screw you, I don't think that you're telling the truth, you know in your heart that you have went and you have apologized, you have done the right thing. And the other thing that comes out of that is, if you are genuine about going to someone and saying, look, I'm sorry that I said X, Y, and Z. I'm sorry I hurt your feelings. Even as much as I'm sorry I hit you. If you got that out of control and you hit someone. When that is really where the golden ticket is in that, is the fact that not only did you reflect on it, you realized it was wrong, you apologized. This is the critical moment, because the person you're apologizing to may or may not accept your apology. But the critical moment is, the next step after apologizing is never to repeat the same behavior. So if you've hurt someone and you truly, honestly believe that it's wrong, and you apologize and you make adjustments in the way you interact with that person, and you don't behave that way again, then it's up to the person who you've hurt, to the person you have bullied, to come to a place of understanding and a place of acceptance of you. And you need to realize, when you do something hurtful, that person may never forgive you. That person may never accept your apology. But all you can do to be the best version of yourself, best version of who you are, is to try to not make these errors along the way. But like I said, we're human, we're going to do it. The way to be the best version of yourself is to know that even if the person does not accept your apology, the person does not want to have any interaction with you, that you have done everything you possibly can to address the issue that you've created. And now the ball, so to speak, is in their court. And you also have to be willing to accept the fact that if you've been mean and you've been hurtful to someone else, that they may not be able to let go of that. Or if they are able to let go of that with your apology, it may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, it may not be a week from now, a month from now, a year from now. It could be 10 years from now. It could be 20 years from now. But the only thing you have control over is yourself. So the control that you need to take and to stop bullying in this world, the control, everyone personally needs to take personal responsibility for their own actions. They need to learn what their triggers are. You need to learn what your triggers are, how to reverse those triggers when they happen, what are some positive coping strategies for your triggers, what are some positive coping strategies for stress and potential bullies, because like I said, you are going to be bullied in some form throughout your life multiple times. So learn coping strategies to deal with it. Build a support network around yourself, no matter who you are. Even if you're 25 years old and you grew up the golden child, quote unquote, and you've always had a million friends, you've never experienced anything negative really from anyone, or nothing that affected you, because like I said, everyone's affected differently. You still need to build that support network of people that you can trust, because it's a sad reality. If you live to be an adult and into your adulthood, at some point in your life you're going to be bullied, and at some point in your life you're going to bully. It's just the reality. So what we need to do is surround ourselves with people who can help us, not only if we're being bullied, so that we get validation and realize that what's happened is not our fault and someone was hurtful to us, but also to help us realize when we've crossed the line and when we've done something that was not appropriate and that we need to apologize. And if we all just took responsibility for our own actions, were more understanding and accepting of all people, I think that the bullying epidemic, I don't think bullying as a whole will ever end, because it's part of human nature, it's part of human interaction. But the epidemic that we have of people being bullied, of people coming out of their teenage years, the formative years, with severe depression, severe anxiety, 1, 2, 10, goodness knows how many suicide attempts, addicted to drugs, any of those things that you can think of, the way that we're going to end that is by all of us trying to live harmoniously together. Now, I don't live in a utopia. Yes, I am a social worker. and we get accused all the time of trying to make everything better. And like I said, I don't think bullying can go away. In fact, I know it won't go away. What I'm saying is that the epidemic, the level of it can be boiled down to so small. It can be boiled down to, if the only bullying someone experienced was you and your sibling getting into a yelling match over the mashed potatoes, and you know, calling that person stupid, your sister or your brother stupid or whatever, we could boil bullying down to that. And then in those situations, people understand their own behavior, recognize their own behavior, accept when other people tell them, you know, that might have been a little harsh, and then being able to turn around and extend themselves out and say, I'm sorry I said that or I did that. We could boil bullying down to that, and that is a form of bullying, but that's the most lowest form of bullying. And we can do it, you guys. We can do it together. We just need to be accepting, know our own limits, be able to recognize when we've made a mistake, accept the fact it's okay to say, I'm sorry. And if you do recognize that you've made a mistake, don't repeat it. And if you do repeat it, which sometimes people do because of things like mental health concerns or just poor coping skills or whatever, if you do repeat it, ask for help from a professional or ask one of those support people to help you get in contact with a professional. And I'm not saying that every person has a mental illness. I'm not saying that every person has a mental health concern. But when you look at mental health, it's like 1 in 3 Canadians will experience a mental health concern in their lifetime. So the reality is that most of us will deal with some sort of mental health or some sort of behavior where we need to learn coping. So if you can deal with it within yourself, then deal with it. If you need to ask for help, ask for help. There's nothing wrong with help. I used to beat the crap out of people. I used to be the most vulgar, mean, bitchy, hateful person on the planet. I really was. The only people that would ever want to talk to me, spend time with me, were my grandparents. And I feel that was out of obligation. And my 2 sisters that are the closest to me in age. They were the only ones for a long time. Except for my drug friends. Who were only friends with me when they needed something. But I was a mean person. And you'd say it was the drugs. But you know what? Even before I got clean, even before I started to really deal with my mental health, so the bipolar, the chemical imbalance, taking my medication properly, I started to learn strategies of how to deal with these people who I just wanted to slug in the face. And situations that I'm now in today where I can think like, oh my God, if that person isn't in my face, I swear I'm going to say something and do something I'm going to regret. But I can think it and say, no, Nicole, that's not the right reaction. The right reaction is to walk away. The right reaction is to take a deep breath. The right reaction is to keep your mouth closed and just let them go on their rant. And know that there's a reason behind it. Years ago, I would have been slugging people. I would have been yelling and screaming, getting up in people's faces and telling them how it was and calling them names and just being a horrifically bad person, doing horrifically bad things. And I had to learn the skills. So I'm not sitting here as someone who doesn't know what it's like to be bullied. I've been bullied my whole life. I continue to be bullied because I have largely, the main reason I'm bullied is for the way my body looks. And that's because everything except for my stomach looks like a fairly, like, middle-sized, average-sized person. I carry extra weight around my stomach because I have Cushing's disease. And I'm just recently diagnosed with Cushing's, and I'm just starting to work on that, getting rid of that. But people say to me all the time, make fun of me all the time about what I must eat. And if they see me eating a salad, which is one of my favorite things, chicken salad, chicken and vegetables, oh, well, what are you doing? You're just doing that to make it look like you care about your health, but really you're just a big fat ugly pig. I have adults saying that to me, and I just look at them, and usually I don't even respond. I don't even respond to the negativity, because that's another way to break the cycle, if you can, if you're not being hurt too deeply where it's impossible to ignore. If you can ignore it, that's one of the best strategies, because you're not feeding into it. So if I say to you, you're a big fat, or if someone says to me, you're a big fat canicle, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then they say to me, well, blah, 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 and then you blah, and back and forth, back. Before you know it, we're both way up here. We're both, in each other's faces. So if you can ignore the person, ignore the person. If you can cut that person out of your life, cut them out. That's not always easy, especially if it's a classmate or something, or a coworker. But the reality is that we need to try. We need to try to just be more understanding of each other. And if there's someone who really pushes your buttons, just try to ignore them. So I hope this video was helpful. I hope this video helped to create a culture of understanding and acceptance of people, not of the bullying behavior. So that's what I'd like to leave you with, is if we can all just be more accepting of each other, and that everyone is flawed, and focus on that, and focus on how we can help each other be better instead of how we can tear each other down, or instead of bullying each other. I think that we could take this epidemic, absolute epidemic of bullying, and bring it down to a much more manageable situation. So, I guess the last thing I want to say is that if you're being bullied and you feel like you have no one to talk to, that long list of people I listed off, no one to talk to, leave me a comment in the comments below, and I'll be that person for you. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with helping people figure out the next step. That's what I do for work. I work with people in high-risk situations and help them make informed decisions about how to change. I'm willing to do that for you too. Talk to you about either why you're participating in a bullying behavior, or why you may be being bullied and what you can do to change it. Not what you can do to accept being bullied, because you should not have to accept being bullied. And not for you to accept that your bullying behavior is okay, because it's not. But to help you understand and make an informed decision about what your next steps are. So whether that be you're a bully and do you want to change your behavior, or you're being bullied and what's the next step in getting you the help that you need. I'd be more than happy to be that person for you. So with that being said, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And please remember to subscribe, and leave me any questions or concerns you have about this video. I'm hoping that it came across the way I wanted it to. And yeah, please leave me comments in the down box if you need someone to talk to. I'm always here, and I always will be here for you. Each and every person out there. That's what I want to be. That's what I've dedicated my life to be, is to helping people. And whether that be in my social work practice, my everyday life, here on YouTube, through email. My email is down in the description box. On Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. I have all those things. So please, 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 please reach out to me if you need someone to reach out to. I hope you guys all have a great day, and I really hope you enjoy this video. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.